Hi there. Thank you so much for being a part of the presentation. My name is Alicia Sanders, and I'm an environmental specialist with the Siouxland District Health Department. One of my roles at the Siouxland District Health Department is I coordinate the Siouxland Healthy Homes Coalition. The Healthy Homes Coalition began meeting in 2013. It was originally the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program, but we changed it to the Healthy Homes Coalition. There are 30 plus agencies represented on the coalition, but anybody can be involved in the coalition. And I'll have more information how, if you're interested in being involved, I'll have more information on how you can become involved at the end of my presentation. So why do we care about healthy housing? So the main thing is 40% of homes here in the US have at least one health or safety hazard in the home. And here in the US each year, over 270,000 children are lead poisoned due to lead-based paint in their home. 25 million people have asthma, which can be exacerbated by issues that may be in the home. Over 34,000 adults, older adults, die from unintentional falls. In addition to that, 21,000 people die from radon-related lung cancer, and 400 people die from carbon monoxide poisoning not linked to fires each year. So what is healthy housing? So the National Center for Healthy Housing says that a healthy home is designed, constructed, maintained, and rehabilitated in a manner that is conducive to occupant health. So the HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, have 8 principles for a healthy home, and this is something that the Siouxland Healthy Home Coalition follows as well. So you can see the 8 principles are: keep it dry, clean, ventilated, pest-free, safe, contaminant-free, maintained, as well as thermally controlled. You can see that I have 3 items highlighted on there, and those are I'm going to touch base on those 3 items during my presentation today, and that's just because those 3 items are what I deal with, get a lot of questions on, inquiries about, and so that's why I'm going to just touch on those 3 healthy homes principles during today's presentation. So the first one, keep it dry. I get a lot of calls about molds, and molds are living organisms that are found pretty much anywhere in the environment, but especially in those environments that are wet, such as your bathroom, mold has a tendency to grow in those areas as well. But mold can grow almost anywhere in the environment. If there's a moisture source, there's a potential for mold growth there. So, for those folks, so mold for the most part does not have adverse health effects on people, but it can affect people that especially have allergens to molds, and then also who have compromised immune systems. So you can see the list there of some of the issues that people may have when they are having a mold issue. So the main thing with mold is you want to prevent it, and then if there is an issue of mold, you want to fix the problem. So you want to keep the home in those areas clean and dry, and then you want to fix those water problems as well. In addition, you want to prevent or avoid using carpet in areas that have a lot more moisture, such as in your bathroom. And then, if possible, those areas that do have moisture, you want to dry them regularly. In addition, testing for mold is not recommended only because mold spores are present nearly almost everywhere in our environment. So a lot of times those tests do come back inaccurate. So that's why it's encouraged not to test for mold. The main thing with mold is you don't, if there's a moisture problem, you want to fix the moisture problem and then clean the mold. In addition to that, to control any issues, mold issues, moisture issues, again, fix that moisture problem, fix that water problem. You want to clean those areas to prevent the mold growth, and then you want to dry those surfaces as well. If at all possible, if you can take those surfaces outside on a nice sunny day, that will help with that as help with the drying as well and prevent the mold growth. Okay, I'm going to move on to keep it pest free. This is also something that we get a lot of calls on here at the health department. The first one is bed bugs. And bed bugs are unfortunately back after a long absence in the US. This can be associated with international and domestic travel, as well as just lack of knowledge of how to deal with bed bugs when they do become an issue. Um, So bed bugs have become a serious problem here in the US. They've been found in hotels. They've also been found in shelters as well as long-term living communities. Bed bugs have not been known to spread disease, but what they have been linked to is stress, anxiety, as well as sleep deprivation. It's important to note that bed bugs are not because of dirtiness; they're not attracted to that, but excess clutter can provide more hiding areas for those bed bugs. So some prevention tips for bed bugs, especially for me, like when I travel and go into a hotel room or anywhere, I am looking at those mattresses. I'm taking the cover off of those mattresses. I'm looking for, of course, bed bugs, live or dead ones. I'm looking for, any blood spotting, anything like that. In addition to that, I do inspections. So if we get a complaint about bed bugs for hotels or motels. I'm also looking around the bed. So I'm looking in, I'm taking my flashlight and I'm looking in behind the headboards. I'm also looking in the electrical outlets. Bed bugs like heat, so they like to stay warm, and so they're in areas where they can hide well, but also are kept warm. You want to seal any cracks, crevices, anything like that, places for them to hide. Encasing those mattresses and box springs are a good idea as well because it prevents the bed bugs from getting into the mattresses and box springs and hiding in there. Especially after traveling, it is recommended, or what I do and what I've heard from pest control operators is to put your clothes in the dryer immediately before washing and put it on high heat. Bed bugs do not do well in high heat. They actually die in high heat. So put your clothes into the dryer right away and then wash your clothes after that. And in fact, you want to use integrated pest management when dealing with bed bugs, and that's because they have a lot of the new sprays that are effective against bed bugs. In addition to that, we do not recommend that you use any of those insecticide bombs, those total release foggers, anything like that. What's been found is people overuse them, and then they get sick themselves from the overuse of those insecticides. In addition to keep it pest free, cockroaches and mice, I get quite a few calls on that. The main thing with that is it's cockroaches and mice have been known to spread disease. You do want to work with integrated pest management if you have a cockroach or mice issue in the home. You do want to keep those areas of your home clean, especially in the kitchen area. Don't leave any food out. You want to keep food in a nice closed container. And this also includes pet food. You do not want to leave that out at night. And then can fix any gaps in your home, and then also continue monitoring and again working with integrated pest management to help with those issues. Okay, so the next issue I'm going to talk about the Healthy Homes Principles, keep it contaminant free. I'm going to talk about two items under keep it contaminant free. And the first one is radon. So every January is National Radon Action Month. And that's because radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the US behind cigarette smoke. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that is found in dirt, the soil, dirt that is found in dirt and soil. You cannot see, smell, or taste radon. And the only way to know if radon is in your home is to test for it. So this is a good picture I like to share about how radon can get into your home. It can get into your home through cracks in the foundation. It's important to note that when you're outside, radon is not an issue because it's able to get into the air and evaporate. But especially in those lower levels of your home, and especially during the winter months when your home is closed, radon can get into the basement and kind of settle into the basement because there's not as much air movement going on during these winter months to cause the radon to be able to evaporate out of your home. So that's why it's encouraged to test during these colder winter months when your home is closed and windows aren't open or doors aren't being open as much in the winter months. This is also a good picture from the EPA, but it shows you can see we are in zone one for the tri state area. And what this means is that zone one has higher than average indoor radon levels. And so that is anything at 4 picocuries at or above 4 picocuries, which indicates higher than average radon levels. So our health department does sell short-term radon test kits. We sell them year-round, and the cost of the kit is $8. The cost includes the kit, the postage, as well as receiving of results. What I do encourage, if that first test comes back at or above 4 picocuries, that you do want to test again, and then you want to take an average of those two tests, and that will give you a good idea of what your indoor radon level is. In addition, it's recommended to test during those colder months when your house is closed, and it's also recommended to test every other year, whether or not you have a radon mitigation system. So the next item under Keep It Contaminant Free is childhood lead poisoning prevention. Childhood lead poisoning is an issue here in Woodbury County in Iowa, and that's just because of the number of homes that we have that were built before 1978, and then also just the lack of awareness and knowledge of lead poisoning and what causes lead poisoning. And that is lead-based paint in homes built before 1978. Lead is a poison and it's highly toxic and it could cause adverse health effects on nearly all organ systems in the body. The thing about lead is a lot of lead poisoned children do not look, they do not feel sick, they do not complain of being sick. So a lot of parents don't even know that their child is lead poisoned until they get that blood lead test. And those results come back. And if those results come back high, that's when they find out that their child is lead poisoned. So lead can affect almost every organ system in the body. Even low levels of lead in the body have been known to have adverse effects. It inhibits the bodies of growing children from absorbing zinc, iron, and calcium, which are important for brain development. And then lead poisoning has been linked to developmental delays. This includes lower IQ, learning difficulties, as well as ADHD. In addition to that, not only can lead affect a child as they're growing, long-term effects of lead poisoning can lead to long-term effects. So you can see down there on the bottom, hypertension, renal problems, as well as developmental problems with offspring. So where is lead-based paint found? So again, like I said, the number one cause of lead poisoning is lead-based paint found in homes built before 1978. Lead-based paint was used extensively on the interior and exterior of homes, especially in the early to mid 1900s. And you'll find it a lot, especially when I do my inspections, when there's a lead poisoned child and I do inspections on those homes, windows, on the inside, on the outside. We found it on baseboards, bathtubs, walls, porches, garages. And again, all those homes, the common denominator is they were early to mid 1900 homes that were built with lead based paint. This is a good picture just to show you how lead-based paint was used. It's not it's a blurry picture, but hopefully you can see on the bottom here that nearly 100% of homes that were built pre-1940 were built using lead-based paint. It's also important to know that lead-based paint was officially banned in the US in 1978. So that's why I say pre-1978 because lead-based paint was banned for residential use in 1978. I just like to share pictures of what deteriorated lead-based paint looks like. Deteriorated lead-based paint has an alligator type cracking. You can see on the top left there. You can see on the right picture there that in addition to chipping and peeling paint, that picture on the right is of a chewable surface. So if there's lead-based paint in any of those layers of the paint, that could also be a source for lead poisoning. In addition to that, lead-based paint has been found. We found it in door thresholds and windows as well. And you can see when lead-based paint is chipping and peeling, it turns into a dust that your eyes cannot see. And what happens, especially for children, they play on the floor. They have a lot of hand-to-mouth activity, and so they become lead poisoned that way by ingesting the lead dust that gets onto the floor, also blankets, bottles, anything that could drop onto the floor also could be a potential source for lead poisoning. Lead poisoning can also be found on the outside. These are just some good pictures. You can see the soil, and then we found it on porches, porch railings, the overhangs of porches as well, garages, different things like that on the outside as well. So childhood lead poisoning is preventable, and that's because you can test your child for lead. It is recommended, especially for children who live in or frequently visit a home that was built before 1978, that they have a blood lead test more often, just because their risk is higher for potential lead poisoning. In addition to that, every child here in the state of Iowa does have to have at least one blood lead test before they enter kindergarten. And I definitely encourage you, if you feel that your child may be at risk for lead poisoning, please contact your healthcare provider. Please talk to them about testing, as well as your concerns. So it's important to know that lead poisoning can have effects on anyone at any age. Young children are most vulnerable to lead poisoning because of their growing bodies. In addition to that, we've been seeing some DIY projects that also could be a potential source for lead poisoning. And I just want to share these pictures with you all. This was actually an item that I found in my twin sister's garage when I was visiting over the holiday season. I walk out into her garage and I immediately see that chipping and peeling paint and that alligator type cracking. And I said, "What is this?" And apparently, this item was given to her from a neighbor who does a lot of antiquing. My sister is very artsy. She loves to do this type of repainting and refurbishing of stuff. And so her plan was she was going to sand this down and repaint it and use it as a decoration in her home. Luckily, I got to her before that happened, because she does have a 2-year-old and 6-year-old child. So she would have been sanding that in the presence of her children. They could have been lead poisoned. She could have been lead poisoned, and there could have been some issues there as well. So thankfully, she did listen to me. She actually ended up just throwing the item away, and so it was not an issue for her or for her children. But this is something that's been on our radar for a while, but just wanted to share this with you as well. Okay, so that is all for the principles of a healthy home. In closing here, just wanted to let you know how to be involved in the Siouxland Healthy Homes Coalition. We meet every odd month, typically on the third Monday of the month. This month, we're meeting on the fourth Monday of the month, so January 22nd. Hope one of our goals to work on for 2024 is to work on a survey to the community for healthy homes issues and what you're seeing and what you think would be a good goals to work on for our coalition. If you're interested in being involved, there is my contact information. So please feel free to email me for questions or to get on our coalition email list. In addition to that, our Healthy Homes Coalition has worked on quite a few different goals throughout the years. We have a checklist for in-home professionals. This was something that was created as a result of a survey that we did a few years ago for in-home professionals, and they wanted a checklist where they could talk to families in a non-confrontational manner about different healthy homes issues. We also do bi-monthly newsletters. Those are sent out on the even months. We have a hoarding disorder checklist that we worked on as a coalition, especially after we started meeting in 2022, after we didn't meet for a few years and from 2020 and 2021. But all those resources can be found at SiouxlandDistrictHealth.org, and you just want to search for healthy homes, and those resources are listed there for you as well. So in closing, thank you so much for your time today. Again, my name is Alicia Sanders. I'm an environmental specialist. If you have any questions or comments, there's my email. Please feel free to give me a call. Have a great day.